I'll have to give a more thorough demonstration at some point, but basically it's a matter of laying out components and deciding where everything's going to go, which takes time. And then once you're happy with everything, where everything's going to go, you can do a 3D view and zoom in and see what it's going to look like, and spin things around and see your connections and make sure stuff lines up and model it. And then the most time-consuming bit is actually making the physical connections between each component. So for instance, you've got the two sides of the board. You've got the front and the back, and you can have things connected on either side. So for instance, the red ones here, these are all on the front, and the blue ones are all on the back. And these are the copper traces that connect all the components together. So for instance, if I want to make these connections, I'm going to move these two pieces here a bit, bring that up, and that one too, bring that across, and there's parameters that define the spacing between each track, because you don't want them bridging or connecting with one another. So I don't need these two vias. Vias basically go straight through the board and they connect the front to the back trace. So for instance here, we've got some traces that run the front that go via vias and connect to traces on the rear of the board. And that allows you to make cross connections. So you can't have a trace, obviously this would intersect on the front of the board if that was on the top, so you'd need to make the connection behind and in front, if you get what I mean. So if I delete these vias, because I don't need those anymore, delete that. And these lines that you see here, they are indicators to show where you've got to make your connections to, and they're all based on where everything is laid out in the schematic, which is here. Or it should be. What's going on? Let's try that again. So there's the schematic, and this determines where all the connections go. So I'm going to connect these up by following these two lines. So I can bring that across, and up, and across, and that makes that connection. I can tidy this up a bit, delete that, and then make another connection. Bring that across, up, and then to there. And then these can just be tidied up and moved about so they are consistent. And then refill the copper trace by pressing B, and there you go, these connections are now made, like so. And I have to do all these other ones, but they're not quite as complicated. So I'll run some traces down here and across to this connector. But that's basically it. And all these layers down here define what each bit is. So this is the top copper layer, so I can turn that on and off, and the bottom copper layer, and the front silk screen, which is all the writing. And yeah, that's basically it. Many hours are spent running traces between one thing and another, and then realizing you've got a component in the wrong place and having to move them all around and then redo them, and tweaking them and tidying them up and making them look a bit neater. And yeah, it takes time, but you do eventually end up with a nice complete board that you can see all your connections on. And these are the connections on the front. So if you pay attention to those four, I spin that around, you can see that these connections here are those connections, and these are the two traces I just put in. So yeah, that's the gist of it.